Love the process and improve your speaking.
Videos that will make you master speaking and grow your personal brand.
You're in this field because you love it. If not, get out. We're going to go through this video today. You've undoubtedly felt frustrated as you work to enhance your public speaking abilities, frustrated by persistent anxieties. Let me tell you, early in my career, I fell on my face a lot. I failed my way to success. I failed my way to push through any of these anxieties. If you're irritated by audience questions and queries that give you trouble, frustrated by the skill improvement process, which is more evolution than revolutionary, gotta get pushed through this. Get through it. I've had everything go wrong. We've all heard about Murphy's Law. Everything can go wrong, will go wrong. It's happened to me. Almost 4 decades on the platform, I've gone through every speaker challenge. So I'm privileged to share with you some of the things that will help you to get through some of this. So how does public speaking fit into this? The lessons that must be mastered are many of the same ones that public speakers must. Now think about how these 5 relate to speaking. Number 1, improvement comes from practice. This isn't limited to public speaking. This is not limited to just about anything in life. Improvement creates a better output. Improvement comes from practice. Number 2, even if you never intend to share it, keep a record of all of your speeches. All of them, good, bad, ugly, and different. Number 3, accept the unpleasant. Accept the imperfect. Perfection suggests end. There is no end. There's progress along the way. Number 4, push the boundaries. Always push yourself to improve a little bit more, 1 inch more, 1 inch more. Make sure that you are doing that. Number 5, get coaching. I would say that that's important also. Get outside feedback on what you are doing from someone whom you respect and are willing to listen to. The best teachers are the best students. Okay, first lesson, practice makes perfect. Your improvements will typically be small steps. Other times you will experience a huge leap in your ability to communicate and connect with your audience. Practice, practice, practice. You cannot just read a book and expect to become a great speaker. You can't watch a video course and become a great speaker. Speaking abilities can only be enhanced via practice. I happen to liken this to the people who study martial arts and have become video black belts. They think watching a video course, you can be a black belt via video. They're mistaken. There's nothing like getting into the ring with somebody, practicing with a physical body to enhance that performance when you are in a situation. When you are in the speaking environment, a live environment, you've got to practice it. You just can't practice in a live place and expect to improve. Practicing beforehand. Some of the best known speakers that I've shared the stages with over the years are still practicing their presentations. They're mouthing their words before they get on stage. And these are household names. The list is too long to mention. I will say this, the biggest names in the industry practice before they present. They don't come out cold turkey. They practice and they're prepared. Preparedness equals excellence. At work, speak. Make a speech at your child's school. Address a town hall gathering. At your cousin's wedding, speak. Do a toast. Speak while driving your vehicle. Number 2, keep records even if you do not intend to share them. Even if you can keep a paper diary, it is usually simpler to retain an electronic record of your talks and PowerPoint presentations these days. When I first started out, there was no PowerPoint. I used overhead transparencies on vellum paper that would melt easily against the overhead projector. But I wrote out my speeches, at least in bullet points, and filled in. It was all prepared, 100% memorized in the early years. After I got good at this crap, I could extemporaneously speak without having to follow a regimen or a ritual of a process. You get to develop those skills over time. Keep this record. Date them so you can evaluate your progress over time and reflect on them in the future and be amazed how far you have come. Even when I've put together my PowerPoints from 10, 15 years ago, I've gone back and looked and it's like, oh my gosh, I would never do that today. Some of the ways that I've laid my slides out, I would never do that today. I wouldn't have used the images. Sometimes I'm shocked how good the images are, and I then repurpose them for presentations today. You're able to assess your progress and look at where your focus was and where you need to focus moving forward. Individual recordings will not only point out areas that need work, but compare it to current recordings. It'll be motivating for you to see where you've come from to where you are today and where you want to go. From there to there. It is challenging to see your own development because oftentimes they're just incremental, small pieces as you progress. But when you have something dated and shown to go all the way back, let's say 5, 10 years from when you did log it, it's amazing how much you have improved. I say this for myself. I wouldn't use a lot of what I used in the past, and I would absolutely repurpose a lot of things, slides that I used before that I didn't. Great metaphors that I put together, I'd forgotten about because I kept thinking I got to show new information. No, it might have been old to me, but not to my audiences. Lesson 3, be comfortable with discomfort. Comfort yourself in discomfort. Understand that things will happen. Accept the pre-presentation butterflies in your stomach. 38 years on the platform, I still get butterflies. Nothing like I did when I was brand new, but they still are there. There's an anticipation, an excitement. Call it butterflies, call it anxiety. Some might call it fear. Fear to me is false evidence appearing real. I know my topic. When I come out there and I'm prepared, following the steps that I mentioned before, this one, you too will have the same result. It's a repeatable pattern. Number 2, accept that when the strain is on, your heart's going to race a little bit. Deal with it, accept it, it's normal. And you'll notice, recognize the fact that you will occasionally forget a word, a phrase, a story, your joke might go wrong. So what? You'll notice that in this video, my presentation isn't perfect. I'm okay with that. This is a YouTube video. Imperfection is okay. If I were perfect, you'd question me. It's okay. It humanizes you and connects you with the audience. Very few people are perfect. In fact, I haven't met anybody yet on planet Earth in my years. So if you make a mistake, move on. Keep going. Also recognize that you will experience PowerPoint problems. I must stop and share one with you today. My very first time speaking in Dubai, about 12 years ago. I'm on the stage, first day with the new promoter that I was working with over there. The room was full of big people, wealthy people, connected people, people that wanted to do business with me. I'm in the middle of my presentation. The AV guy who's off to my right is Not there. I looked over, just glanced off to the side of the stage. It was on a large stage in an auditorium, about 700 people. He wasn't there. So I continue and I'm clicking using something like this, which is my clicker, my advancing tool with my presentation, going slide to slide. My screen behind me went black. I saw the reaction in the audience, and behind me, the screen went black. I pulled up my clicker, this exact clicker. This has traveled with me for 20 years. The screen is black. What do? The guy is gone. My AV guy is gone, the one that's supposed to be managing and keeping this. So I said, guys, excuse me. Didn't lose my composure because I didn't show. I'm a professional. You act like a professional. Things went bad. The AV guy wasn't there. I don't know, maybe he had an emergency. So I found him and I noticed the door was cracked to the side of the stage. He was outside smoking a cigarette. PowerPoint problems. The AV dude was smoking his Marlboros instead of paying attention to my presentation. Now, I don't know if that's ever happened to you. Maybe it was a different cigarette brand. Doesn't matter. You be upset as well. I was PO'd. You can fill in that statement. I said, Bud, you need to get back to your job. We've got an audience of 700 people. There's no presentation. Come inside. He came back inside, threw his cigarette down, got my presentation back up. So I went and started up again. Now here's what happened. Here's what happened again. I got to tell you this other side story. So I'm upset already because my presentation went down because the dude had to have a Marlboro right in the middle of my presentation. I'm wearing a headset around my head. This was a pivotal market change for me, an operational change. Wearing this headset, it shorts out because I'm sweating so badly. Because I was stressed about this guy smoking his Marlboros, I couldn't focus on the issue at hand. And it wasn't just a PowerPoint problem. It was a wetness. And guess what happened to my headset? It went out, stopped, canceled. I had no sound. So I had to pull this thing off, pull the cord. It was behind my back with the power pack. And I went and grabbed the handheld, okay? Where was the AV guy? You would think after the first interaction, he would still be in the room. He was out smoking cigarette number 2. Number 2, Marlboro number 2. I'm inside and I then resorted to a handheld microphone. From that point forward, 12 years later, I have never worn a headset. I won't. Bad memory. Bad marriage. The headset and Mitch got divorced. I went back to a lapel microphone, which is what I wear today, and am loyal to Mr. Lavalier. So things happen. You deal with it. Professionals deal with it. You move forward. Number 5, recognize that not everyone in the audience is awestruck or even paying attention. I call this the cell phone test. Sometimes people just aren't interested in you because you're not interesting. You could be boring. We've all had those professors in college or the university during our years. They're boring, but you have to listen to them. And when people are boring, they get bored in their recognition. When you know you've disconnected or you aren't connecting to the audience, will be the cell phone test. If they're texting Tina or texting Tom, if it's the other gender possibly, they're texting during your presentation, you've disconnected, more than likely. Or you can do what I did the very first time I spoke in Manila. Some years ago, I think it's been now about 6 years. 6 years ago, I spoke in Manila for the first time. 38 speakers were speaking here. I was invited through the Philippine Association of Professional Speakers. I was the second to last speaker, so everyone had spoken before me. I'm different than the other speakers. I get my rump off the stage. I want to interact with the crowd. Now, Filipinos are a great festive group of people when you speak to them. However, Out of any of the audiences I've spoken to around the world in 61 countries now, they are the most addicted to their cell phones that I've ever encountered. So how did I address that? I used comedy, I used physicality, and I used, my humorous self to use my platform as the person on stage to get them to remove themselves from their appendage, which is also known as an iPhone. And I got off the stage and went up and bumped these people with my hips when I saw people on their phones. I said, up, one phone down. Not everybody's connected. Guess what? Everybody turned their phones upside down, and there were over 200 people in the audience on this round table conference over in the city of Ortigas in Manila. They stopped. Guess who got evaluated as the most fun and entertaining speaker? You betcha I did, because I interacted. I used my physicality. Being a large guy, I went out and I bumped them. So not everybody's going to be paying attention to your presentation. Do something different in order to capture their attention again. Accept all these things, but keep in mind that until you let them, none of them will stop you from communicating effectively. Another lesson, stretch your limits. Motivational speeches frequently use the adage, if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always had. If you approach each speech or presentation in the same manner, then if your presentation is the same as mine, if you create PowerPoint presentations in the same manner, you will repeatedly employ the same speech opener. If you always address the group from behind the podium, if you always take speech notes in a 12-point type, your skills will stagnate. Break it up. If you never try new things, look for chances to go outside of your comfort zone. The 1-hour keynote, when you have only ever given 10-minute teaser speeches, requires trying new vocal styles, including new stories, giving new gestures, adopting a new modern style of visuals, finding a new source of quotations, looking for new audiences, possibly getting off the stage, doing what I mentioned earlier, getting out and interacting with the crowd. These all work. Lesson 5, respect the procedure. There is no peak in speaking ability. Rather, it is a process that you go through for the rest of your life. One of the best speakers I've ever known as a keynote was a man named Les Brown. Is Les Brown. He's still around with us. Fantastic. I'd say he's at the pinnacle. Humbly, Les says, I'm still learning. It's a work in progress. It is understandable if you think the procedure is a chore you must go through before one day mastering the presentations to the highest level. That attitude will undermine your efforts. Set manageable objectives. Recognize your successes as you progress. That's why you want to journal and keep dates on your presentations. You'll laugh off the blunders and you will improve in the process. Stay tuned. I've got lots of great information, more stories to help you rise up, continue to progress, not perfect, progress in your speaking in the next video series. See you soon.